What is going on YouTube? It's your boy Spanko, and today I'm back with a pure Orcust deck profile. Now this deck maybe is not as popular played as a pure version, but the reason I actually decided to show you guys the pure version today is because I actually took it to locals. I think it recently topped a PPG and a regional, just a pure version. So I decided to try it out because I've been playing Orcust, I've been playing a bunch of different Orcust variants, and I was like, you know what, let's try the pure Orcust, and it actually did pretty well at locals. I ended up losing my first match to Cyber Dragon, which has a really good matchup against Orcust. Like, it was pure Cyber Dragon too, so it was just a really good matchup for them. But then I ended up beating Thunder Dragon in the second round. In the third round, I think I beat the Rocket Dragon Link thingy. And then in the fourth round, I lost to Subterra Guru. And then when you lose Subterra Guru, it kind of sucks because, you know, I went X2 into 4 rounds. It was kind of suckish. And obviously, it's not the best performance, but keep in mind, that was my first time also piloting the pure Orcust deck. And I made some changes since that locals because I found some things that I liked and some things that I didn't like, and I'll explain that in the video, so we'll get right into it. But before we actually get into this profile, I want you guys to check out the Discord. This is a 45 card main deck. I can't play 40 with Orcust. It's very hard to play 40. So like I said, it was pure Orcust, so I'm playing triple Harp Horror, triple Symbol Skeleton, triple Nightmare, double Brass Bombard, and one World 1. So these are the ratios I'm playing. At locals, when I actually played, when I was explaining to you guys, I played triple Brass, but triple Brass is actually really bad in my opinion, only because you can draw multiple of them. So even if you discard one, you can't actually special summon another Brass with the Brass, if that makes sense. So the thing is, like, if you have like both of these in your hand and you get one in the graveyard, you can't banish it to summon this. So I found too many situations where I would open double Brass and it would just be horrible for me. So what I decided to do was cut Brass to 2, and honestly, I didn't actually mind cutting Brass to 2 at all. Like, I didn't miss it, especially in testing afterwards. And then one World 1, because this is the card that you're just going to keep recycling off Galatea, to be honest with you. Just because you have 3 of every other Orcust, you do have a lot of resources in this deck, and you're not really like tight on the Orcust package. So I do play the one World 1. You keep recycling it, and then with this you'll actually keep bringing back these guys from the banish zone, so it becomes really easy, and you recycle basically everything in this deck just with like this, and then Galatea recycles this, and then this recycles your monsters, etc, etc. All right, so that's it for the Orcust engine / World Legacy engine. And then for the normal summons of the deck, I play double Ibli, 1 Mathematician, 1 Armageddon, and 1 Dark Grepher. So this is my ratio for the normal summons. It's 5 normal summons in the deck, and the reason I decided to do this was just to give me some variety. I think the best normal summon is Ibli because Ibli is just a straight combo. So I might consider removing the Mathematician just for a third Ibli, but it is just another name and another option that you guys can use in this deck. Grepher is amazing in this deck. Obviously, you can pitch Nightmare from your hand to special it. You can pitch World 1 from your hand to special it, and that's actually very strong because being able to pitch a Nightmare to special Grepher is actually huge, right? So that's it for basically the Orcust monsters / the dark monsters. And then I did play a bunch of hand traps. Now this deck wasn't a going second deck, but I did play a bunch of hand traps because you have a bunch of combo starters with all of these. So what I decided to do was just play a bunch of hand traps because I was thinking like, hey, if you finish on a Galatea on a Crescendo plus like 2 or 3 cards in your hand and like one, let's say 2 of them are hand traps, it'd be really, really good, right? So what I decided to do was play triple Nibiru, triple Veiler, and triple Ash Blossom. Now, you guys might be like, oh my god, Aladdin, you're playing another going second deck. Okay, technically you can go second with this. There's no reason you can't go second with this, but it's not a going second deck. It's just that your combos in this deck don't require a lot of cards, and it's not like a crazy big combo, right? A lot of the time, like I said, you'll end on like a Galatea plus a Crescendo. If you have if you open a really, really good hand, you could potentially finish on Dingirsu Galatea plus Crescendo, right? Which would be really good as well. But even if you don't finish on that, like the nice thing is you can just have the hand traps just as backup, and so this way if they like force your Crescendo out, you can Crescendo, but then they're like, okay, now they have to play through 2 hand traps as well, right? So that's why I decided to play the 9 hand traps. Also, if you were forced to go second, Nibiru is obviously really, really good in that sense, and the Orcust boards do get broken really easily, so Nibiru actually isn't horrible later in the game. Once your board gets broken, you can at least still Nibiru at that point. But so that's it for the monsters in the deck and the hand traps. It's all you need in my opinion. Brass Bombard, like I said, playing it at 3 might be a little bit too much. Mathematician's a little bit iffy. Maybe Scrap Recycler over Mathematician, but again, does the same thing. If Scrap Recycler gets Veilered, you kind of just sit there doing nothing. I'm personally contemplating playing the third Ibli just because it's like the best normal summon in the deck, but that's it for the monsters. Moving on to the spells, we are playing triple Orchestrator Return and 1 Babel for your Orcust spell cards. And the reason for that is obviously because Orchestrator Return is pretty much always live in this deck, obviously because you're playing triple of each Orcust monster and double Bombard. So you're playing so many Orcust monsters that Return is always live. The only problem with it is that it is a once per turn, a hard once per turn. return on the orchestrated return, which kind of sucks when you open double of them, but you still need to play triple because it is your drop power of the deck and it makes the deck really consistent and gets a lot of your Orcust cards in the graveyard, which will start your combos, right? So return is obviously very necessary at 3. Babel I just play as a 1-of because again, you can keep recurring it and it's searchable. You don't want to necessarily draw it. Drawing it isn't horrible, but you don't want to open multiple. You can return it from your graveyard back to your hand, right? So 1 Babel is all you need. Then just, you know, standard triple Call by the Graves. Something that's not a standard, but I'm really loving is triple Mind Control. Now again, like I said, it's not a going second deck, but if you are forced to go second, Mind Control gives you that option. But Mind Control is also really good because it does give you that backup play for your next turn where let's say you make your combo, your opponent breaks your board or something, you have the Mind Control. Also, if you're forced to go second, like I said, it is there. Then for the 1-ofs, I am playing 1 Desires, 1 Monster Reborn, and 1 Foolish Burial. These are just the kind of this power spells that I'm deciding to play. Some people play double Desires. I personally don't like double. 1 is enough in this deck just because, again, like I said, you have the return for the draw power in this deck, so you don't necessarily need multiple Desires. I just play the 1 because, you know, it's a good card when you break or after you combo, you can Desires, and then also you'll never have to worry about Desires into another Desires. And then obviously Monster Reborn and Foolish Burial are just very powerful spell cards. And then for the trap cards, I'm only playing 6, so I'll just show them to you guys here. Triple Imperm, again, like a hand trap, but going first, you can set it, obviously really good. And then triple Crescendo, triple Crescendo, I said it. Opening this in this deck is actually really good because then you can actually just search out your Babel, and then you'll have the Babel plus Crescendo plus like a Galatea and a Dig Engrave or something like that, right? So you'll have the full combo really easily with this deck. So Crescendo is always live, and the nice thing about this deck is that a lot of the time is you can go straight into Galatea without going into Mermaid or anything, so you actually really don't lose to like a hand trap on the Mermaid, because a lot of people, what they'll do is they'll hold their hand trap for like a Mermaid, but then you don't even have to go in the Mermaid, and then you'll just set the Crescendo and with the Galatea and you're really good, right? That's it for the main deck. Again, like I said, it should be 45 cards in the main deck, and we'll move on to the extra deck. Moving on to the extra deck, you are playing triple Galatea, the Orcust Autumn Maiden. Galatea is obviously really good. Double Long Girsu and then double Ding Girsu. I didn't want to max out on Ding or Long because a lot of the time you guys are just gonna keep bringing these guys back from the graveyard and or recycling them. So the thing is with Galatea, the reason you only play 3 Galateas because it's the one that you're always pretty much going to go into, which is why like sometimes you go into it twice in a turn. Long Girsu is like one of those more situational cards where you use in certain situations, but you won't like really end on. Sometimes you'll actually end on like a board of Long Girsu plus a Ding Girsu with a material under it plus a Crescendo, which is really strong, which is why you still play double Long Girsu. And a lot of the time, I've actually, funny enough, I've been cherries on my Galatea, and my opponent would be like, oh my god, like you freaking lose, haha, you have no more Galatea. But then you can just Long Girsu, shuffle your Galateas back, and it's actually really good in that sense. So double Long Girsu, double Ding Girsu. Then, because you guys saw, I am not playing any back row removal or hate, so I am playing Trisbana in the main deck, in the extra deck. I think it's really good. It's very easy to make as well. Nightmare package, I am playing 1 Phoenix, 1 Cerberus, and double Mermaid. The only reason I chose to play double Mermaid was just because of the Ibli. Ibli goes straight into Mermaid, and a lot of the time your opponent is forced to hand trap this. And then if they hand trap this, you're in a really good position, right? So if you Ibli make Mermaid and then they Veiler or you hand trap your Mermaid, you're actually in a really good position because you don't really need the Mermaid to go off for your full combo to go off. It's just really good bait. Also with Ibli, you can make this later on in the game as well, so that's why I decided to play double. The other option is just to play Nightmare Unicorn, but I personally never make Unicorn and I don't think it's that good in its own, so that's why I decided to play double Mermaid over the Unicorn. 1 Link Kuribo, because in bad hands when you open Brass Bombard and like other Orcust monsters but have no way to really get them in the grave, what you can do is you can normal summon your Brass, make a Link Kuribo, then banish your Brass to summon another Orcust monster, and then you have a combo from there. So that's why I decided to play the 1 Link Kuribo, just for those like really bad bricky hands. 1 Boral Load and 1 Boral Sword, just because they're really easy to make in this deck. Boral Sword OTK is very simple in this deck, and Boral Load is really good because it helps you get over big monsters that you otherwise can't get over. So that's it for the extra deck. I don't think I would make any changes personally. The only thing is if you guys would like to play 1 Mermaid and then a Unicorn instead of here, that would make sense. But the reason I also like double Mermaid is because with that Dragon Rocket link around, people will just Silver Rocket your Mermaid. Now you don't really need the Mermaid in this deck to go off, but like I said, having the double is actually kind of nice, and it makes Ibli a 1-card combo, right? So that's why I decided to play double Mermaid, but otherwise I really like this extra deck. Moving on, I'm going to show you guys a quick side deck what I played. I played triple Twin Twister, triple Dark Ruler No More, triple Ghost Ogre. Like, these are just for going second. Twin Twister is actually not bad going first either because you could just set it, but these are just for going second. I guess something like combo decks, Dark Ruler No More is obviously really good. Ghost Ogre is just another hand trap that you can play. Sometimes Veiler isn't good enough, so Ogre is just a little bit better, so I decided to play Ogre. Then for going first, I am just playing triple Judgment. This is just a card that I'll side in against decks that I know can break my boards really easily, so Judgment is really good, as well as triple Anti-Spell. The reason I decided to play Anti-Spell is because you actually don't need your spell cards too much in this deck. And again, if you're going first, you can side out stuff like Mind Control, etc, etc. So you can just play the Anti-Spell in my opinion. And then this is really good against Striker, because if you side this plus Twister in, like, that's insanely good, because they'll have to set all their cards for a turn, but then you'll have time to twister it. Same thing with other decks, like Anti-Spell is pretty good. You can actually remove one for the Imperial Order, honestly, like I don't think it makes that much of a difference. I just decided to play triple Anti-Spell instead of the one Imperial, just because you do want some of your spells to go off as well, and then having the Imperial Order, sometimes you can't out it, and it becomes a problem for yourself. So that's why triple Anti-Spell, in my opinion, was pretty good. And I mean, the side deck was really good for me. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, I really like the side deck. I think it was okay. I don't think I'd make any changes. Maybe a Lancia, because Orcust is starting to seem a little bit more play now. But otherwise, I really like this side deck. So if you guys enjoyed this video, please like the video, subscribe to the channel. Let me know what you guys want to see in the comment section down below. If you guys would make any changes, obviously let me know as well. Check out the Discord. And with that, guys, Spanko signing out.
My hands steady, I feel ready, but my legs heavy, I don't get it. How come I haven't hit it already? Still working, I'm still learning, I'm still searching, finally earning something, finally turning something called a profit. If I hear you talking shit, don't get caught in it. I'll be popping off and hit your ass, dropping all your shit. Yeah, I promise this, I got promises, you ain't stopping this, cross my shit.